Hello and welcome to today's video. I am so excited because we are going to be reading my lowest and my highest rated books on my physical TBR according to Goodreads. And I wish that Goodreads ratings did not impact what books that I pick up and how I go into them, but they really do. I try not to look at the ratings as much as possible, especially when I'm picking out a book, but sometimes temptation will get me and I will look, and if a book is under 3 stars, like for sure, 100%, I would rethink picking up that book. But I find that I often like books that are in the mid-range, so in the 3 stars, because people either love them or hate them, and that tends to be the kind of book that I enjoy the most. But if you watched my Goodreads picks, my September TBR, then you would already know what the lowest and the highest ratings are from my physical TBR. I was so incredibly shocked that the lowest rated book on my TBR, I think it's a 2.9. I think it's a 2.90, which is low, okay? It is The Three of Us, and I very recently picked this out, like maybe a couple weeks ago, and I was really excited about it. I didn't check the ratings on it, and I am curious if I would have picked it up if I saw that it was a 2.9. But I'm glad that I did, so that we can figure out for ourselves if the rating is accurate and if it should affect if we pick up the books or not. So The Three of Us, the premise of this book sounds so interesting to me. It is over the span of one dinner, and it follows a married couple and the wife's friend. It seems like the wife's friend and her husband do not get along, and the three of them have dinner together. And it also shows all 3 of their perspectives. I think maybe the day leading up to the dinner and then the dinner as well, or just the 3 perspectives at the dinner. So it spans a very short amount of time, and it is a short book. I feel like this could be done very well, but now that I know that it has a 2.9, I am kind of thinking that it's not, but I want to give the book the benefit of the doubt, and I'm really hoping that it surprises me. So we are gonna get right into this. I will probably honestly finish this today. It's a Sunday, so I think I might binge the whole book, and then we will get to the highest rating book on my TBR. I just got back from a trip and I unpacked my bags yesterday, took out my glasses. I hadn't taken them out the whole entire trip because I hadn't read it all, and they're broken. My glasses are broken, so right now reading is hurting my eyes so bad, but we are gonna push through and we are gonna read. I'm gonna see if I can find my old glasses because that would be better than nothing, but just so you know, she's getting a little bit of a headache from this. Quick little update, also I found my old glasses, so these will do for now. They have to. They are helping a little bit, but my prescription is quite different, so fingers crossed that it doesn't take long to get my glasses fixed. I'm already a third of the way into the book, and it's okay. I'm feeling extremely neutral on it so far, which kind of is making sense with the rating that it has. But I really don't feel any way about it at the moment. We have finished the first perspective, which was the wife's perspective, and then the next perspective is going to be her husband's. And we've really just gotten the backstory on her relationship with her friend Temi, and then also her relationship with her brother, her brother's family, a little bit about her relationship with her family. So lots of background stuff. There wasn't a lot of like in the moment with her visiting with her friend, but a lot of background, and it wasn't bad. Like, it really wasn't bad at all, but it was just extremely neutral. It's feeling like a 3 stars where I'm not having a bad time reading it. It's not a terrible book, but it's also not really doing anything for me. So we will see if the next 2 perspectives picks up at all. I'm curious if it's just going to be more backstory from the other people's perspectives. Then I don't think that it would be that interesting, but I hope that we get a little bit more of like in the moment, them all interacting together. That is what I think will make or break this book for me. So I'm gonna keep reading, and I'm definitely gonna finish it today. Maybe we can even start the next book. I'm feeling a very reading heavy day today. I used all of yesterday to kind of relax and reset from my trip, and now I just want to read and chill before I start work tomorrow. Also, I didn't realize, but these glasses are so crooked. Okay, well, I guess both my glasses are a little bit messed up, but it's gonna have to do. That is so freaking funny. I am about to go to work, but let's quickly talk about the 3 of us because I am now finished and I am ready to go on and start the next book. I still feel very similarly now that I finished as I did when I was a third of the way in. I feel very neutral towards this book. I honestly really enjoyed the premise of them showing all the different perspectives and having it span over such a short amount of time. I feel like we found out a lot about the characters that way, but there was no connection to the characters. It felt very surface level in the way that it was written. It felt like we were completely like observing the situation, and I didn't really care what was gonna happen. I wasn't really rooting for anyone. It was that type of book where every single character was so unlikable, which I usually enjoy, but there was just something about this, the types of things that they would do and how far they would go just seemed very blown out of proportion, and it kind of created a disconnect, at least for me, with the characters and what was going to happen, because I didn't feel really any way about what was going to happen, and I did not care too much for any of the characters. That being said, I still really enjoyed following along with it. It was not bad in any way. It was just extremely neutral. So I would give it a 3 stars. Exactly what I was thinking a third of the way in. I feel like a lot of the times I can guess what my rating's gonna be just a third of the way in, probably most of the time half the way in. But we are giving the 3 of us a 3 stars. It was honestly a lot better than I was expecting. The premise of it I found was very unique, and yeah, not bad. A lot better than I was expecting for a 2.9. I also checked on Fable this morning and it has a 2.8 on Fable. Like, that is so low. I haven't gone and checked the exact reviews and what people are saying, but I will do that later. But yes, the 3 of us, we have finished, and now we can move on to the highest rated book. I'm really excited now after reading the lowest because I feel like this is going to be such a treat. Like, it has to be good if it's the highest rated. It has to be. So I mean, we'll find out. This is exactly why we're doing this, but let me grab it. The highest rated book on my physical TBR is The Lion Woman of Tehran. My mom actually got it for me for Christmas and I just haven't gotten to it, but this is a huge motivator to get to it because what do you mean it's the highest rated? That's kind of crazy. I have so many books on my physical TBR and this is at the very top. I was actually kind of surprised by this one because I haven't seen too much about it online. I don't know if my algorithm just didn't show it to me and other people are talking about it, but I haven't seen anyone talk about it. But I'm very excited to get into it. I am trusting the Goodreads review with this one. And I also find that Book of the Month books, they're never bad. Like, lots of people have read them and decided that they were gonna put it on Book of the Month, so they're never bad. Sometimes I'm very neutral about it, especially if it's a book that is just not really for me, but maybe other people love, but they're never awful. So we are going to be starting The Lion Woman of Tehran. I will start it tonight when I get home from work, but I am very excited and I will update you soon. It is now Wednesday morning and I am halfway through The Lion Woman of Tehran and I'm enjoying it so far. Not as much as I was expecting with it being the highest rated book on my TBR, but in general, that aside, I am really enjoying it. It is about our main character, Ellie, who at 7 years old is living in the uptown of Tehran with her family. They are royalty, they are really well off, but then when her father dies, they have to move to an apartment downtown. Her and her mother move there alone, and she has to go to a different school, and her mother is very against her being friends with any of the kids in the school because she looks down upon anyone who is not from the same background as them, and anybody who works. She really looks down on anybody who works. She thinks that woman should not work and they just need to get married. But Ellie, being a 7-year-old kid, of course, becomes friends with someone at the school, and she really wanted a friend, but she didn't imagine her friend to be the way that she is and be the friend that she is, but she was really just attracted to her energy, and she becomes friends with this little girl that her mom is very against her being friends with, but alas, she gets really connected to her family and would honestly rather be in her friend's family than her own. They become friends even though they have so many differences between them, but as kids, they don't really see that. Ellie later has to move back uptown with her mom as circumstances have changed, and she ends up going to a high school that is a very prestigious high school, and everyone is kind of in the same background as her again, and her mom is very excited about that. She kind of forgets about her whole friendship with Ellie, and life moves on until they reconnect. And a main part of this is just the struggle that Ellie has of understanding herself and where she falls in between her mother's beliefs and her friend Ellie's, and just kind of trying to discover where she stands in society and her own beliefs. But yeah, it is definitely a heavy one, and I am really liking it. I love how the story is flowing, but I think because it spans over so many years, I feel a little bit less connection to it. Like, we don't go super in depth in the different areas because we're covering so much ground in quite a small book. I think it's 300 pages, but I am enjoying it. I am excited to see what's happening, and I really enjoy the storyline and the different subjects that the author is touching on. I love a historical fiction that is teaching you things as you go, and you get to learn about certain time frames in different places, but through people and their experiences. So I am really liking it. If I were to guess where this would stand, I would say I'm at about a 4 stars with this one. So I really am enjoying it, but there's just something missing for me. I think it's just not enough depth to the characters. We'll see. Maybe it's because they're still so young, and maybe as they get older, there will be more depth to their characters and the story, but we will see. I'm going to continue this today. I got called off work, so I think I'm gonna finish this today, and then we can recap on this and the lowest book on my TBR. Okay, it is many hours later now. I'm in the same spot, I promise you. I have moved, but I have about 50 pages left of The Lion Woman of Tehran, so I'm definitely going to finish it tonight. And All I can say is the second half of the book is definitely better than the first, in my opinion. There's a lot going on with the story and a lot of tragedy because it is in 1970s in Iran. The whole thing spans from like the 1950s to 1980s, maybe even to the 1990s, the 1980s. And our main character, Ellie, the friend that she had met, even when she was 7 years old, she really wanted to be a lawyer to fight for women and change the laws. And I love that main character. Love her friend. She stayed so true to herself and that goal throughout the story, even though she's gone through so many hardships. And it has been really interesting reading about the war and everything that was happening there. And I'm still feel like I'm missing, I think it's in the writing style that I'm missing some of the depth that I would want from the story. Like the plot itself is very heavy and there's a lot going on and it's very interesting, but I think in the writing style is where it's feeling like there's not a lot of depth. It's very simple. I would say that's why it's not completely feeling like a 5 stars. It's a little bit too simple for my liking, and I think that contributes to why the characters don't feel completely whole and real. But I am enjoying it. I'm going to finish the last 50 pages now, and I will probably check back in with you tomorrow. I have officially finished both of the books for today's video. I also noticed in yesterday's clip about the Lion Woman of Tehran, I kept mixing up their names. So Ellie is the main character who is from Uptown, and her friend Homa is the one that she meets that's from downtown when she moves to downtown as a 7-year-old kid. And I was saying I love Homa. I love her friend. I think she's the best character in this book. At some points, Ellie became so frustrating, like watching their relationship together, a lot of the things she was doing and how her actions were impacting Homa was really hard to watch. But what I meant to say yesterday was I love Homa. Okay, I'm sure if you read it you know what I'm talking about. But to recap, this was the lowest rated book on my TBR and I ended up rating it a 3 stars. And this was the highest rated book on my TBR and I ended up rating it a 4 stars. So not even that much different in star rating. And what I think I have found from doing this little experiment is that the lower rated one surprised me and it was better than I was expecting. And the highest rated one didn't disappoint me, but it was lower than I was expecting. It wasn't as good as I was expecting. I think it's just because my expectations were so high, being that this was the highest rated book on my TBR. I assumed I should probably like it the most out of all the books on my physical TBR, and that's just not the case. And this one, I thought I was just gonna absolutely hate it because of such a low rating. So I think what I learned from this is that the lower rated books, if I go into it, they might be better than I expect, and the higher might be lower just because of how I'm going into it. Knowing the star rating, it kind of may decide how much I enjoy the books. Let me know if you guys have ever done this and have noticed the same thing or maybe something different. I would love to know how the Goodreads ratings impact your reading experience. And thank you so much for watching today's video. I cannot wait to start making another one right away, right after this. And I hope to see you guys again soon in my next video. Bye!